You look lonely. I can fix that.
You don't become a monster when you're abandoned. You become one when you realize no one is coming back. Lotso didn't break at abandonment. He broke at replacement. And by the end of this, you'll see exactly when that happens to people and what they build after it does.
I didn't throw you away. Your kid did. Ain't one kid ever loved a toy, really. Chew on that when you're at the dump.
Lotso was loved. Not a little, fully. He had a child who carried him everywhere. Then one day, he gets lost. He waits. Hours become days. Days become something else. And if you think this is just a toy story, it's not. This is exactly how people break in real life. When he finally finds his way back home, he sees another Lotso in the child's arms. Same smile, same hug, same place. Just not him. He was still loved, just not by the same person. He didn't lose love. He lost his place. This is where Lotso becomes dangerous. Not because he gets angry, because he gets clear. Once you've been replaced, you stop asking one question: do they love me? And you start asking a colder one: can they leave me? That is the moment love becomes a security problem. This is already happening to you. Some people get hurt and become sad. Others get hurt and quietly rebuild their entire personality around never feeling powerless again. And that transformation usually happens in 3 steps. Step 1. Change what matters. Lotso doesn't chase love anymore. Love failed. Love was soft, temporary. Love could look you in the face and choose someone else. So, Lotso changes the goal. Not love, safety. Because safety doesn't ask to be trusted. Safety asks to be controlled. And Sunnyside gives him the perfect laboratory. Children come and go. Toys rotate. Attachments form, then disappear. To everyone else, it looks normal. To Lotso, it looks like proof. Proof that anyone can be replaced, unless someone controls the system. This is the part nobody likes to admit. Most people don't become cold overnight. They become careful, then distant, then impossible to lose, because no one can reach them. Step 2. Make control feel like protection. Lotso doesn't tell the toys, "I'm controlling you." He tells them, "I'm keeping you safe." And that is why his system works. Because the best cages don't look like cages at first. They look like order. They look like someone finally knowing what to do. At Sunnyside, proximity becomes power. Some toys get access. Some toys get protection. Some toys get sent where they'll be broken. And Lotso controls all of it. Who gets close? Who stays useful? Who gets discarded? Sound familiar? Because this isn't just what villains do. This is what hurt people do when they decide vulnerability was the mistake. They stop saying, "Please don't leave." They start building situations where leaving has a cost. That's what makes Lotso terrifying. He doesn't look broken. He looks organized, calm. He looks like the person who has finally moved on. But he hasn't moved on. He has redesigned his whole world around the wound. And the worst part? It works. For a while. Step 3. Punish hope. Every system built from pain has one enemy. Hope. Because hope is dangerous to Lotso. Hope says this isn't the final truth, and Lotso cannot allow that. So when Woody challenges him, Lotso doesn't hear morality, he hears denial. You still think they'll choose you forever?
He don't want you no more.
That's a lie.
Is it? Tell me this, Sheriff. If your kid loves you so much, why is he leaving? You think you're special, cowboy? You're a piece of plastic. You were made to be thrown away.
That's why he gets cruel. Not because Woody is wrong. Because Woody is threatening the only thing keeping Lotso alive. Certainty. Lotso has turned one unbearable truth, I was replaced, into a law for everyone else. Everyone gets replaced. And once your pain becomes a law, you stop seeing people. You only see exceptions waiting to betray you.
I don't think that's daylight.
You're not watching a villain win. You're watching someone choose control, because healing would require admitting he was still hurt. And that is the prison, not Sunnyside, not the daycare. The prison is the belief. If I don't control it, I'll lose it. And if you think replacement only creates villains, sometimes it creates something more dangerous. Someone brilliant, useful, someone the world learns not to replace again. 1985. Steve Jobs is pushed out of Apple, the company he founded, the machine he helped build, the future he believed had his fingerprints on it. And then one day, they decide it can continue without him. Same moment, different response. Lotso sees replacement and decides no one gets close. Jobs sees replacement and decides no one gets to function without me. Same wound, different architecture. When Jobs returns to Apple in 1997, he doesn't just return to a company, he returns to the scene of the wound. But this time, he builds differently. Every product decision tightens. Every launch becomes personal. The system becomes so specific to him that removing him again becomes almost unthinkable. Not because everyone loved him, because they needed him. And that distinction matters. Love says, I choose you. Need says, I can't function without you. Lotso gives up on loves and controls access. Jobs gives up on being replaceable and controls necessity. One builds a daycare hierarchy, the other builds indispensability. But underneath both systems is the same sentence: never again. Never again will I be easy to leave. Never again will I be one of many. Never again will someone look at what I gave them and decide someone else can do it too. That's the hidden playbook. Replacement doesn't just create pain, it creates strategy. And strategy built from pain almost always asks someone else to pay for it. Before the mirror, the proxy case. You've done this, just not in a way you admit. Think about the friend who got burned in a business partnership. They trusted someone. That person took credit, left, moved on. 3 years later, they still CC themselves on every email, still keep contracts where there used to be handshakes, still exit relationships before the other person can. They didn't become paranoid, they became strategic. There's a name for this behavioral pattern: attachment rupture response. Not healing, not recovery. A system built around the wound so the wound can't land again. Now make it personal. The friend who becomes distant, you withdrew first. The promotion you didn't get, you stopped mentoring anyone below you. The relationship that shifted, you started ending things before they could. Pre-rejection, you didn't protect yourself from pain. You optimized for never feeling it again. That's not random. That's you, making sure it never happens again. Replacement doesn't just hurt. It rewrites how you measure your value. And the worst part? It works. Lotso doesn't beg at the end. He doesn't redeem. He loses control. And in that loss, something becomes visible. He never wanted power. He wanted certainty that no one would ever matter more than him again. And Jobs never wanted to run a company. He wanted to be the kind of person who can never be handed a cardboard box and told to leave. He didn't become evil. He became certain. And if you've ever been replaced, you don't wait to see if it happens again. You start making sure it does. Getting replaced doesn't just hurt. It shows you how easily you can disappear. And once you see that, you don't heal from it. You build around it. Not healed, systemized. Lotso was replaced. That was his wound. But there's a different kind of break. Not being replaced by someone identical. Being told, after everything, that you were never chosen. He did everything right. He trained harder than anyone. He was ready. And they gave it to someone else. Not because he failed, but because it was never his to win. And that breaks something deeper. Because you can survive losing your place. You can't survive realizing you were never chosen. If you've felt this before, you'll recognize it here.